And we've made it to the last day of our dissection, and today we're going to cover the organs of the excretory system. And the excretory system is responsible for getting rid of waste. It's actually cell waste. That's why it ends up in liquid form, unlike the waste from your digestive system is in solid form because water is being removed from it. Water is being removed from the cell waste as well, but what's left is that metabolic waste that your body needs to get rid of in the form of urine. So that is what we're going to be covering today, the organs that are used to help get rid of this waste. So this slide is showing you the bean-shaped organs, so I almost spelled that wrong, called the kidneys. And they are on the lateral dorsal surface of the abdominal cavity, and usually when kids are dissecting in the abdominal cavity and looking at the digestive organs, they are also finding the kidneys as well. And they're very hard bean-shaped organs. They do look very red like that, and they're on the dorsal surface, so they're towards the back underneath all of the digestive organs. And the kidneys are what filter the blood. So they take out all of the waste. For instance, they take out the urea that was from protein metabolism, and that would be in the blood, and that would be what would be going to the kidneys for removal, because remember that urea was made from the amine portion of the amino acid, and it was converted to urea, and then it will be excreted through the kidneys. The renal vein and renal artery leave and enter the kidney. They're bringing blood in and out of the kidney. So renal, that term, it's kind of like hepatic going with liver. Renal goes with kidneys. So its meaning is it goes with the kidney. So the renal vein and renal artery are what are serving the kidneys. On this slide, we're going to be looking at the renal vein, and they're blue. Veins are blue because they're carrying oxygen-poor blood back to the heart and lungs to get reoxygenated. So they are the blue veins that are being shown going into the kidneys. And then on this slide, we're looking at the kidney kind of being pulled away from the body of the mink, and you can see the renal vein going into the kidney, or actually I should say coming out, because it's taking blood back to the heart. You can see at the same area the renal vein is going into the kidney. The renal vein is red, and that is shown. They actually color the arteries and veins in the dissection animals, and so red would mean it's a vein because it's carrying oxygenated blood, and that oxygenated blood is going into the kidneys to oxygenate the cells, but also that blood is going to get rid of some waste as well. And the renal vein is going to take the deoxygenated blood, or blood that is filled with CO2, back to the lungs so we can get rid of the CO2 in our bodies. So that's the renal artery carrying that oxygen-rich blood into the kidneys, and shown in red there. Now the waste from the kidney is going to travel out into what we call the ureter. And these are very thin, delicate tubes that carry urine down into the urinary bladder. The other thing that you can see here from the digestive tract is the rectum. So this is just another picture of the rectum, and you can see the bladder down here. And you can also see that we have a boy because the penis is also in this picture as well. So lots of things going on in that picture. The bladder is what stores the urine. So from the ureter, we're going into the urinary bladder. until it's excreted. So it's stored there. Urine will leave the body through the urethra. I do not have a picture of the urethra because it's very hard to get into that pelvic area of the mink. There's lots of bone in that area, so it's very hard to cut through and get to see those tubes that are going to the outside, particularly the urethra and also the anus as well. And I like to show this picture because this picture, the person who was dissecting here pulled the kidney away from the body of the mink, and you can see all that fat that is around the very thin ureters that are going to carry the urine to the urinary bladder. And so when you're actually doing this dissection, you have to take the probe and be very, very cautious that you don't tear the ureter before you actually get to see it. So it's a very delicate process to remove the kidneys and to remove the ureter, to follow the ureter down to the urinary bladder. So that's it for the excretory system. So again, you have a reading to do in your dissection manual. That reading is found in the lab manual folder with all the others. I don't believe there are any short video clips of the excretory system, so you can disregard that. I forgot to remove that before I showed this video. And again, remember to be working on your journal so that you can get that handed in either on the 22nd, but you do have the 24th to finish anything up that you might need to finish up. And that's it for our dissection. I hope you enjoyed the virtual dissection. I know maybe it was a little disappointing that you didn't get to do that in the lab. So I hope that this was at least a little bit fun for you to get to see that mink dissection virtually, and even get to see some of the videos of some of the thoracic and abdominal cavity dissection. All right, so just finish those journals up, and I'll be looking for those in the Dropbox.